Hey guys, here's my Weeden electric motor. It's a model number 103. I got this in an auction not too long ago, but it was missing some critical pieces and wiring. I did get it running and shown on some short videos, but I was just using some copper wire to kind of like make a proof of concept and to prove that it actually worked. This engine, or rather motor, was made or introduced in 1913 all the way to 1918. So this little guy is well over 100 years old. I believe it's going to be closer to 1913 because of the base is, I believe it's probably iron painted with some nickeling on the feet and then a wooden board. But when it came to me, it was missing this terminal, and the switch, and then it was missing one of the thumb screws. But more importantly, it was missing the wiring, and then the brass standoffs and the brushes on both sides of the commutator. So, yeah, how do I get those? Well, obviously, you can't get replacement parts unless you have a donor. But I reached out to a friend of mine, Paula, that I know from Steam Forums, Office of the Steam, and asked her, hey, do you think you might be able to use your machining skills to make me some parts? And she said yes. So I only really anticipated, the standoffs and then the brushes, a little screw right there. I sent her my Weeden No.1 as an example of what the standoff and the brushes look like. But she also offered to make these terminals, and she nickeled them, and she made the thumb screws, and even, let's see if the way that they're shaped are very similar to Weeden originals. The threading's different, but that's okay. But she actually spent a bit of time, like grinding these down or filing them down, whatever a machinist does, to make them more in line with what of a original Weeden. And then she made took a piece of dowel, I guess, wooden dowel, and formed it and painted it and made it fit on the switch. I mean, it's freaking remarkable. Anyway, so looking inside here, you can see obviously this one, and there's one on the bottom also, right? Those brass standoffs were completely missing. And of course, no screw and no brush or anything like that. And then she made a coiled, copper wire for this right here. The best that I can tell, from photos, because I haven't seen an example of this 103 that's complete, right? They're all missing the brushes. And I suspect because on the 103 and the 102, these this insulator is kind of like at the 12 and 6 o'clock position and is exposed. And so it's probably very easy, from age, not age, but over time for them to get, damaged and lost. Because they originally just kind of like pushed in, but I asked her to use little screws to help keep the standoff from popping out, right? So this screw right here is a deviation, but I thought it was smart to put a screw in there to keep it there, right? I mean, considering that I had nothing before, I felt it was probably safe to deviate a little bit. All right, so yay, I mean, going from nothing and no real good examples other than a very fuzzy small picture, I think it's a fabulous job. So let's go ahead and hook up some power. I'm using a variable power supply. I'm at 3 volts and 2 amps. Put this one there, right? And then I know if I put the motor right there, let's see if she'll start right off where I got it set up. Almost. Just give it a little nudge. Now you can see it running, getting up to speed. And like I said, I'm only running 2 amps and 3 volts. Now I just added a 1/2 amp, and now you can see that it's moving itself. So that's 3 volts and 2.5 amps. And took it just under 2 amps. Still running really, really fast, but at least it's not, moving itself. And now I'm going to remove the power. And she's spinning down on her own. There you go. Fully working 103. And pretty close to a factory configuration. Many thanks to Paula for this. Without having a donor, that happened to have those pieces, I wouldn't have this engine in its state. It's a fabulous little electric motor. We'll turn it around so everybody can see the different angles. There's a little switch. Works very well. Let's see if I can get one of these thumb screws off, because they're quite remarkable. There we go. So you can see how she redid those. Very nice. And again, she nickeled these. It's awesome. Alrighty. Well, I hope you like this little demo of this 103 and it coming back to life. I'm very pleased with it, and I'm going to really enjoy looking at it on my shelf now. All right, everyone have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.